Dude, I got on the scale today before I took a shower. I haven't lost a pound. I was like, hell yeah, baby.
You know what? I just feel like that's a recipe for a disaster because like
I
I'm
don't
on
get
my
on
period.
I don't get on the scale that often though. Every once in a while, it's okay.
I fluctuate so much that I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that to my psyche. I don't need
Well,
it.
honestly, I just laughed afterward. I was like, that's funny.
That's what I did the last time I got on the scale. I just laughed. I was just like, because we had been working out a ton, and I was just like, oh.
You're like, well, I just think they're not the best. I think the best practice is to buy a piece of clothing, put it on, take a picture. You know you love the piece of clothing, and you know what you want to look like in it, and you're not being disillusioned. Like, oh, one day I'm gonna have totally different bone structure. You know what I mean? But you know you'll look good in it, or you have in the past, something similar, whatever. Take a picture, and then, you know, in 4 months, take another picture, or in every month, take a picture, or whatever. But just to show, you know what I mean? Like, don't buy something you know you hate what it looks like on you. I hate big jeans. If I wear like
mom jeans,
looks awful on me. So it's not like I'm gonna pick that.
True,
you know what I mean? It's like, pick something that looks great on you, but that's a reasonably smaller size, and then judge off that, because the more muscle you get, you're gonna not probably see much difference in the scale. It could even be like you gain. And that's,
what if you put on like human skin, like buffalo bill?
Well, I feel like I need a whole new wardrobe for that kind of situation. I'm not qualified.
I love a nice.
You got a whole new skin tone. You know, your undertones changed. There's a lot that goes into that.
Well, that's the best thing about having skin suits, is that
you can change your color.
Skin tone. Yeah.
You can be a summer or a winter.
Well, yeah.
What started it all was my sister said I was a fucking summer and I shouldn't wear this shirt. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna get some new skin.
Well, no, but you guys kind of started this off really good, because before I could see you guys, you were like, what did you say? You said chicken skin, something like that. Like, chicken skin, yeah. And then I had no context. I couldn't see anything. So all I heard was chicken skin, yeah. And I'm like, no. I'm like, that's what they should start the podcast. And everyone's like, what?
Yeah. Sounds gross.
Chicken skin, yeah.
That's gross to think like that we like eating fried skins of other animals.
I know, I thought about it a lot, but then because I've thought about it a lot, I've gotten used to it. I'm just like, yeah, we eat muscles off other animals. Yeah. And then I'm like looking at other humans and I'm like, yeah.
The other night we were eating dinner, and eating.
Oh, no, get the fuck out of my camera. How about that? Look at your little elbows.
Wow. It was funny though, because Ben was like, wait, what are we eating? And he was like, we're eating a cow? We killed a cow. It's like, oh, we did it.
Well,
you're like, this is a really long conversation.
Right, like,
we're complicit.
I know, I did that. Well, I did that to, it was either B or Lexi. Yeah. Or maybe it was both of them.
Made him turn vegetarian.
We were at Grandpa's house. Well, we were at Grandpa's house, and they were like, what are we eating? And I was like, deer. And they were like, what?
I know. Bambi's a little bit different.
It was delicious, though. It was really good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Listen, I know.
I'd kill a cow if I had to.
I would too, if I had to.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's the point of had to.
If I had to feed my family.
Well, that's the point of had to.
No, well, not even had to. I would, if I had the land.
I would just do it.
House a cow. I would kill them.
I would just kill cows. If I had the means, I would do it.
I would do it. I'm sorry.
I would. Jesus Christ.
Of course I would.
Move over here.
Well, I'm just saying.
Someone's on
Of
a
course I
rampage
would.
against Ken.
Do you guys want freaking burgers? Yeah.
Oh.
So, well, here you go.
Silliness. Oh, you know what I had today, guys?
What?
Fucking loved it. Decaf coffee. Yep. Because I was like, I
was thinking about that the other day. Decaf coffee. Go on.
I was just saying, I really wanted a cup of coffee. Yeah, and ST just wasn't hitting for me. And so then I got a decaf coffee. Oh, it tasted so good.
Dude.
Where did you get it from?
Dude, stop talking about it.
Just
yeah.
Ben Brothers. But I think I'll do that every once in a while. Have a little decaf. Because it tastes so good, dude. I tasted it, I was like,
dude,
this sweet little bitch.
I know. Because the other day I was thinking about it and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I have my pre-trainer that's enough caffeine. I can't. It's too much. I'm not going to overload my adrenal glands. I don't need to do this to myself. And then suddenly I was like, dude, decaf. And it was because of a sign on a coffee shop's little sign, and it said decaf is like for pussies or something. And I was like, dude, decaf, I could have that. Yeah, but I want it. I was just like, I'm not going to you guys, but I think I'm gonna try it.
Yep.
Why not?
Yeah.
I drink herbal tea, so I don't have to have the caffeine.
Yep.
That's what I drink when I.
Because decaf technically has a little caffeine in it, but not much. Is what we're worried about.
I mean,
Yeah,
at that point, at least you're just not drinking while you're pregnant. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm just saying.
I mean, if that's your bar.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you think about the bartenders where it's like a very obviously pregnant woman comes up and is like, can I get a shot of tequila? You're like, I'm gonna shoot myself in the face. I can't deal this.
Can you refuse them service? If you have
I don't know.
some big ass broad come up to you, right? Well, she's like, I'm not pregnant.
Well, she's
like,
not big, but her belly is big.
Right. Like it. I don't know.
And her belly's not part of her, so is that what we're saying?
I think they'd probably. They're already drunk at this point, so they'd probably admit they're pregnant. You're like, oh, okay, I think you need to leave.
That's a good
Well,
question.
it's a.
Can you deny?
Well, I'm just saying,
Have you
fetal
not?
alcohol syndrome is a real thing. I babysat a kid, or I was at the daycare when, he's a very angry child.
Thanks, Victoria, for telling us that. I'm medically.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was saying thank you because she said fetal alcohol syndrome is a thing. Oh shit. We all took help.
I didn't know it was a thing before
Health
that
class?
situation.
Oh. You've never heard of fetal alcohol syndrome?
You did. Like, when did you work at the daycare?
You don't have to see something to know it's
17.
real.
I know that, but I'm saying.
I was.
You ever seen the center of the earth?
Okay.
Have you?
You're making it
Have
sound
you?
like she found out last week.
How old were you?
17.
Oh. Okay, fair enough.
There's a lot of anger.
Danielle.
I'm just.
Danielle's like,
There's a
you
little
just let her
caffeine in
be a
that coffee.
human?
There's a little caffeine in that
Danielle's
coffee.
like, can you please let her just be a human for 5 seconds? Thank you. I'm like, geez, I feel very advocated for. Thank you, Danielle.
Well, listen, it started off because you were telling us that fetal alcohol syndrome is a thing. Like we're idiots, so. That's all. That's all I was saying.
No, I was talking as if I was talking to the woman
An
who is
idiot.
coming up to the bar.
Eat that other chicken.
No,
She is,
I'm-
yeah,
no.
she
I'm
is
not
an
eating
idiot.
it.
I'm
Throw it on the
not.
ground.
I'm not
Throw
gonna
it on
do
the
it.
fucking
Okay.
ground right now. Throw it on the ground in front of both of you. If you're not gonna eat it, and he's not gonna eat it, throw it on the ground.
Yeah.
Because
Like I'm a
no one needs to be
scolded
tempted
dog.
by this piece
That's
of
how-
chicken.
That's how she came at me.
Oh,
Put it in
Like-
the fucking doghouse.
one of us is stupid, and it's not me. Like that's the energy I
You
got from
son
it.
of a bitch! You aren't gonna eat this chicken. You're like, oh my god.
Maybe we all need to stop drinking.
Put it in your mouth. Put it in your mouth. You gotta like it.
It's like the Matilda scene, the cake. Fucking
I
hate
do
that
keep
scene.
seeing her elbow in your.
I know.
It's like a UFO. You're like, oh shit.
Stretch it out. He turned his camera.
Don't you love? Don't you love those like creepy laughs? He's like, it's like, why's your mouth closed? The whole time.
She's like she's
Because I
got.
have chocolate and
Yeah,
peanut.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. She has a mouthful of candy, so she's trying to keep it in. I just think it reminds me of that. Thinking of that reminds me of like boba tea, liquid with just stuff floating in it. That's all I was thinking.
Why? What is the? Explain it to me. 'Cause
What
I
boba
thought-
tea is?
What is it?
Basically,
well, just like
What's
people's
the purpose
obsession
of it?
with it. They seem like.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
well, here's the thing. Have you had it before?
Mm-mm.
No, because
So then don't knock it till you try it. First off,
I don't like.
I haven't
tapioca-
knocked it. I just don't
like
get. I don't get.
tapioca pudding, and it reminds me.
I never said you knocked it. I just said don't knock it. I was telling you. I was making
Just don't
a
even
declaration.
think about it. Don't even.
Uh,
I'm not gonna
I
eat
was.
it.
I was on the fence. I hate boba tea, and I hate anybody who likes it. Go on.
I'm not gonna drink that boba tea. Okay, fine.
Now
Don't give a
get your-
shit.
Get your hand out of my camera.
I won't live in a. No, just go crazy with it. Just be like, I won't vote for a president who drinks boba tea. You're like,
It looks like I have a really long finger.
It does.
it really does. That's like that's unsettling for me right now. It's really unsettling.
Stupid.
No.
Boba tea. For one, lots of
Stop
different
doing
flavors. I know. Lots of different flavors. There are plenty of bad ones, but you can find ones that are good. But it's
like
just
kombucha, where you're like, oh wow, this is really healthy for me.
it
It's like
tastes
drinking mustard
disgusting.
water. It's disgusting.
Can
Can I have this?
Mustard water.
if you put your hand in my camera,
I
oh God.
want a dish.
Point your really long arm in there.
Give me the tissue.
Snake arm.
I've had boba tea though. It's just sweet tea with just stuff in it, but there's all different sorts of stuff you can get. I mean, I'm sure you can get like a fucking Oreo cookie one or some shit. It's just sugar.
But
That's
I mean,
all it is.
It's
What's the purpose of the
it's a
floating
sweet
things?
tea.
Because
yeah.
you get to eat these little things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, you eat them?
Yeah, you eat them. And they have different ones. It's just like all different sorts. You can have
It's
little
caviar
jams.
for poor people.
No, it's sugar for people.
They're floating fish eggs in your drink. Delicious.
I think maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting, that's for sure. But I understand it. I think it was called a Thai tea before. Now that was weird. That was super strong. I did not like it. But then again, it's just like, maybe it's like having a beer for the first time or coffee for the first time where it's like, nope, and then you keep having
Yeah.
it, like, oh, this is good.
There's a Spanish drinks I was looking at. And they're like cucumber, but it's like a creamy cucumber, and I'm like, and they're like, how do you make it? And it looks really good.
Yeah.
And they just put like they blend up condensed milk with it, and to us we're like, ugh, condensed milk and cucumber, but that's a drink that they love, so it's just okay. I
I think the only time I've heard of creamy cucumber is when girls had said it. Had called me that.
All right. That is the best Tinder name
I
ever.
totally
What's your
thought-
Tinder name? Creamy cucumber.
Oh my god. I
Get
thought
out.
he was going to talk
Get the hell
about
out.
the cute, creamy
No, I
cucumber
knew.
salad.
I felt it. The only time I heard that, I was like, "Don't even sass me. Don't sass me right now."
I really thought he was going to talk about cucumber salad. I
See,
really did.
I'm getting better at just kind of putting them in there. Just kind of.
You poor Danielle. I could feel it. I could see your little cheeky
Listen,
little.
Danielle's the easy boss. You're the hard
Cucumber.
boss. Okay.
Listen.
So I got one of you.
Listen.
I'm raising my level.
Yeah, you got to get to the where I'm like, oh really, and then you just hit me with it, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
stop. Don't even try.
Oh, bitch tits.
It's like creepy dad joke.
Yeah, they're just gross jokes.
That's just called stepdad jokes.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's called a Woody Allen. It's called pulling a Woody Allen.
Got her.
That's so bad on so many levels.
Yeah, it is.
I call him the Woody Allen. Stop it. It's fucking
You
no.
ever dated you ever married your stepdaughter?
We're gonna have to rate this podcast.
Let's play have I never have I ever. If you ever decided to adopt a daughter and been so specific about it that just to make sure that if you didn't like your wife in 10 years you could be with the daughter and just put your finger down. Everybody's like, he's like, just me then, okay. You're like, oh my god.
Gross, dude.
That's what he did. And it's crazy looking at the pictures because it's all documented.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast, people. Woody Allen here.
Let us start by saying sorry.
Damn,
We're
there's a
sorry.
couple.
Everything. I apologize.
I don't apologize. I don't because I'm not Woody Allen. So how would
I apologize
For Woody
For
Allen
what?
and
for
everyone else.
having to listen to this.
I apologize for being born.
Joke's
I'm
on
pretty
you.
Sure a lot
Nobody
better
listens to
person
it.
could have been born in my... Danielle's like prefacing. She's like, it's about to get a lot worse.
All right.
Two things
Tell by the
though.
mood
So,
we're in.
just so everybody's aware, another episode of Unseasoned Reviews. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. People that aren't doing that.
If someone
being
ever
here.
watches,
If we ever have a person that's interested in watching this, thanks.
and sorry.
We appreciate
If
it.
this is the 1 minute that you are watching this,
Before clicking out. Like, what is this? No, I'm not interested. Don't worry. That's what our mom said right when we came out.
Right.
All right.
not interested. No, that's what our dad said. Not interested.
He wasn't even there.
I
He
was
wasn't
just
even
gonna
there.
say he said that
Hold on.
before.
No, hold on.
He knew ahead of time he wasn't going to be interested.
That was during the pregnancy. Actually, never mind. I don't want to get too dark and deep.
Exactly. And sorry. Welcome to the podcast.
I was gonna do an open mic night, and I was making a joke. I was writing a joke about how our dad didn't love us so much. He lived in the same town as us, but still was like, I want no part. Something like that. But
Have
I
you ever
can't
been that
remember
disappointed?
Yeah.
You're like, yes, we
You
have.
live 2 blocks away, and still.
Our mother
Welcome to
ran
the
our house
podcast.
like a hierarchy, which sounds bad. But if you think about it, at least she had a hierarchy. Our dad wasn't there for any of it. You're like, oh my god!
Yeah, we had a caste system in our house. It went mom, then the boy, and then the women.
Yeah,
My God.
basically how it We're interviewing
Truth hurts,
Victoria
doesn't
today.
it?
She was one of the lower ranking women, which means
How does it?
hi everybody.
How does it feel to come from the cast of women?
I'm like, number one, it sucks. I hated it since I was born, and I wanted to be a boy. And I was a better boy than my brother until he hit puberty. Unfortunately,
That's typically how it
That's
works.
yeah. Unfortunately, that's when it all went downhill for me in the house.
True.
Like, oh my god.
But So two things. We were talking about Woody Allen. So funny thing happened. Woody Allen, I think, was coming out with a. This is over a year ago, I think. I can't remember, but Woody Allen was coming out with this new book, and people were just basically
Boycotting it?
yeah, fuck Woody Allen, basically, right? And then
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin said, "No, I'm gonna have this man on." And at first he wasn't gonna. He said he was gonna have him on. Then got backlash.
Did Alec Baldwin have
Alec
a
Baldwin
show?
have him on his like podcast or something,
I didn't.
Okay.
or on Instagram.
I didn't know he had one.
I don't think he was doing a podcast. Sorry, I think he was doing an Instagram post, a live video, live Instagram. Okay,
Yeah.
it's like YouTube, it's like going live,
Sure.
Twitch, whatever.
Okay.
You guys understand what?
We're following.
I get where you're going.
Okay, so but I believe it's on Instagram, whatever. And he's like, I'm gonna interview Woody Allen. People gave him backlash over it, and I don't know if he flip-flopped a couple times or not, saying he wasn't gonna do it or he was. But then he was like, he was gonna do it, and then he did it, and everybody gave him shit for it, for interviewing Woody Allen, because Woody Allen is shit. And then Alec Baldwin shot somebody. So, is it karma? Maybe.
Who'd Alec Baldwin shoot?
So, Alec Baldwin was doing a movie, and one of the prop guns had a real bullet.
A live
in it,
round in it.
and he shot a lady. Oh, did she die? She did die. And
Okay. I'm curious about this.
it was also his wife.
No, it wasn't. This is so
It was
dark.
Alec Baldwin's wife at home 30 days after the filming was over.
Right.
It was the prop gun, but it had one real bullet in it. And it just so happened that night she died. You're like, so he killed his wife? No. Wait. Not exactly. Because did he know that he was going to kill his wife? Or were they just having a kinky little game?
Of
That-
Russian roulette.
I'd be a good lawyer. I'd be a good defense lawyer right now.
So
Anyway,
it's not how it
So-
goes in the movies. Okay, next.
that's exactly how it goes in the movies. Anyway,
You would say something like your colors are off, and then people would be like, it's literally.
no. Wait. So, is it easy to tell the difference between a live round and one of these? I'm just do we know any
Well,
of this information?
let me explain, since I've been on a movie set and done this multiple
Thank you.
times.
Thank you. Okay, go.
I don't know.
We don't know.
Oh, you were just being an asshole? Okay.
Today in the car,
He had
Today in
a
the car,
smidge bit of
Danielle-
coffee, and it just pushed him over the edge.
I feel great. Today in the car, Danielle, I was asked her like two different questions, and both times she started with the first time she started with like, so I think blah blah blah, says this whole thing, and then I go, so you don't know? She goes, no, I don't.
I have no idea.
And then the second time,
I know. That's how you know. That's how
Yeah.
you know that Danielle has a high-paying job, because they don't actually require you to be intelligent. They just require you to know a lot of words.
Hey,
and
No,
she didn't even have
this-
coffee.
this guy asked me about why there were lines in the road. Like there's breaks in the road. Why are there
You know when you're
breaks
driving
in
on the highway?
Like I would
When you're
fucking know.
driving on
Like
the highway, And they have
I'm
those
an
lines.
engineer. What are they? Civil engineer.
People just know stupid shit all the time, and you look like you feel you're having stupid shit.
Okay, yeah. And so I said, I think I started with, I'm not for sure, but I think it's because we have extreme temperatures, cooling and warming, and it's probably to give
That's
the road
immediately
space,
what I thought.
space
Yeah.
to like expand and contract. And then
so
I
So we
said,
have less-
and then again I said, but
irregular
I don't know.
tracking.
no, you didn't. You said, I'm not sure. You did say that at the beginning. You said, I'm not sure. Then you gave that whole explanation. And then I said, so you don't know.
I said, yes, I don't.
Oh
know.
my gosh!
And
But she
then-
prefaced
I
it.
prefaced it
Danielle,
with,
okay,
I'm not
Danielle,
for sure.
Danielle,
Funny.
Danielle,
It's funny.
Danielle.
Yeah.
I was in school. I was in 9th grade. I was in science class. And my teacher was busy doing other things, and we
Who was
had
it? Was it
one of
Shriver, Dotson? Peltonen.
Shriver, it was a guy. Dotson was the guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He,
I think I had
ninth grade.
Shriver.
So I had both.
Yeah, Shriver teaches
Anyway.
chemistry, Dotson teaches biology.
Yeah. So anyway, we have this little questionnaire sheet in front of us. We haven't learned any of the material yet, and he's busy kind of doing his own thing, setting up whatever. So I have one of the popular guy kids look at me for no reason and is like, "You're smart. What's the answer to this question?" And I immediately was like, "I do not know. He hasn't told us any of this information." And then he says, "Yeah, but you're smart. So what do you think the answer is?" And I literally responded just like you did, Danielle, where I was like, "I don't know, but maybe it's blah, blah, blah." And then when he came on, the teacher, it was wrong, what I said. And the guy was like, looks at me and he's like, "That wasn't even right. Like, I'm a fucking asshole for saying anything."
You're like, listen.
I'm like,
I told you I didn't know, you dumbass.
what did I told you I didn't fucking know. What the hell? How are you how am I the asshole now? 'Cause I answered your fucking question, you dick. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my god.
Like, don't ask
Figure it
me.
out yourself, you dumbass.
There was this one time.
Why? Jesus.
It's true. There's this one time I was at lunch and I was sitting at this table and these two kids started fighting at lunch. And they were fighting for probably 2 minutes, and I saw some teachers off in the distance, and then Mr. Dotson was one of those teachers, and he walks over and he has the sandwiches in his hand and he's eating it, and he breaks up the fight by going, "Okay, you guys, stop it." And he's still eating the sandwiches. As he's breaking up this fight, I was like, dude, that's such a fucking
Delicious
baller
sandwich. You walk into a fight with a sandwich. I feel like that's a joke. That's immediately a joke. Guy walks into a bar with a sandwich. You're like, yeah, I'm into it. What happens? Guy walks into a bar with an egg salad sandwich. You're like, okay.
I fucking love that, dude. It's seared into my brain. My brain loved it.
He lied all the time. He was like, "You know why you never get flakes in your eyebrows? Because there are little tiny microscopic bugs that eat them." I'm like, "Is that true?" I'm like looking in the book. Why are you fucking telling us this? You just lie all the time. He's like, "You know why your stomach gurgles? Because when it's really hungry, it collapses on itself, and then it moving against itself is why it gurgles." I'm like, I don't think that's true. I know. I like ask other people, and they're like, "Are you fucking idiots because of gases?" I'm like, well, I have a teacher who's just fucking with me, I guess. Like, what the hell? Sucks.
That's funny.
There was
No, it's like
He's
you're
like
going to
Paul
redo it.
Rudd
I
in the
feel
new
like
Ghostbusters. He's like,
there should be a teacher. There should be like his title should be you're a teacher, but you're also a troll, and then it should be like, you're like nobody knows what's true. Nobody knows what's real. It's
Then
all
you
a
have
lie.
to
It's
own-
a fantasy.
it's kind of smart, and it forces you to go do your own research.
That's true. You're like, I don't think that's accurate.
Oh, that's not
Well,
true.
there is that one saying, isn't there, that the quickest way to find the answer to something is to just say the wrong answer, and everyone will want to correct you.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, but then there's also that saying,
You're like, can you
If
believe
you-
Hitler was 35 when he died? Everyone's like, you're a fucking idiot. He died at 19. You're like, oh my god. How dare you say something wrong?
That's how there was a Canadian comedian making a joke about Americans and how serious we take movies and actors and who the actor is and their whole life story. You're like, "Hey, you guys take it so serious." Like, what is up
I
with that?
believe
That's called our
it. The
mom.
other day I was watching YouTube shorts, and it was like actors who are nice versus actors who are not nice, and I was just like, nobody knows the actual answer to this. And so I just immediately opened up the comments, and someone was like, "Oh my god, my breath caught in my throat when you showed this person because they're a really nice person. I know that." I'm like, your breath caught in your throat. Your breath. You couldn't breathe when they showed a picture of, oh my god, who are we? Like, you have nothing else to do in your life.
it's true. Although, I was telling Danielle, so I watch the H3 podcast, of course, and
Of course.
they just started a new segment where they're doing the sort of drama update where it talks about some drama going on with celebrities or internet people. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
Just saying.
he sucked me into it, and
Yeah.
I still haven't seen the ending. I have like 8
Well,
minutes
nobody
to go.
knows. Nobody knows. I told you the ending. Remember the boyfriend?
Yeah,
It's Sydney Sweeney.
you did tell me.
This whole thing, but Sydney Sweeney is engaged to a guy for 5 years, and then the guy,
Her castmate.
yeah,
Who
Forgot
cares
his
what
name.
his name is?
he's in the new Top Gun. He plays the douchebag. Adequate.
Oh, yes.
Blonde-haired guy, sandy blonde hair.
Yes,
He
yes.
has had a girlfriend for 3 years. They go and they're going to do a rom-com in Australia. They go to Australia. Everything's good. Then pictures start to get where they keep taking pictures together. And at first it's like cast and crew day, but they're always like right next to each other. And then it's them two by themselves, and then with her with his family and stuff. And everybody's
Easter with
going,
his
what's
family?
going on?
Easter.
And then his girlfriend starts making some Instagram posts that are going, seems like they're breaking up. And then they have a weird hug goodbye at the airport. And now the girl actress is still with her fiance, and they're saying everything's good, but he definitely broke up with him, and his girlfriend broke up.
Yeah, they're
And it's like, what's going on? But either way, it's drama, and it is fascinating when told correctly.
Frankie is like,
Well, of
Damn.
course it is, but I feel like you like when you're telling the story, I could tell a similar story about my own life, but like
Nobody
it's not my
cares.
name, it's not anybody else. But that's what I mean. I mean, you shouldn't care. So you're wrong for caring.
No.
I watched a video about
No.
a horse
Let
that
me
had
ask
a little
this.
pony that had way too long of hooves because it was neglected. It got the hooves cut off so it could actually run, and I was way more fascinated in that than I was in your story about the people.
Well, I'm not. I made it super short without all the really like being
Yeah, I
able to
don't
see the
care.
pictures and stuff. Yeah, but see, you're dumb. And so here's my thought: is that why do people like Downton Abbey? That show's just about drama. Why do people like it? I love it
I know, I hate it. I hate it
because
so much.
people
What?
like drama. We all like drama. Humans love
I don't.
gossip
I
and
hate
drama.
it. No, I hate Downton Abbey. I think it's stupid.
Well, you're.
I watched like 2 episodes of it, and I was like, the dude who is like working for the guy is like so evil. He's like wanting them to fail. This is awful. This is an awful show. And then there's like the guy who doesn't want to be rich, but people are treating him like he's rich. And he's like, please don't, I don't need any help with this. And he's like, sir, this is my only job. This is the only way I get sense of identity. Please let me put your coat on. I'm like, this show fucking sucks. I hate it. Fuck this show. I'm done. Like, no, I'm not interested. This is like, it's just looking at money as if like money is the best thing in the world. And look at all these people whose lives are so intrinsically controlled by money, and it just disgusts me. It disgusts me, and I think the only reason people are interested in celebrity stories versus their own lives are because of money, fame, popularity. And it's like, if you spent a little bit more time focusing on your own life and making that a good place, then a lot of things would be better in the world. That's all I'm saying.
Well, as you know, Danielle and I constantly just look at celebrity gossip all day, and our lives are ruled by it. So clearly,
Totally.
we need this advice more than anybody. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I
We're on a
appreciate you
podcast.
taking this stand to tell us we shouldn't ever listen to drama. And
I
gossip.
just want to say that besides Don Quixote, Downton Abbey is also a hot button that we should not bring up to Victoria while we're on the podcast with her. So now we have.
I hate it. I hate
Well-
Downton
Quixote
Abbey.
and Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey, though, and the camera's kind of messed up. Downton Abbey, though, they do bring on a guy that is following the communist movement, and it gives some pushback to the capitalistic ideals of Western society. So, just saying. Now, what they're doing is they're showing a historical depiction of how society was, and then building drama into
England.
that. What?
Western.
Society. Capitalism is a Western society ideal.
That's more like Downton Abbey is more like monarchy.
I was just gonna say,
Okay.
like, they're bored into the money. They can't.
Okay.
Capitalist society allows you to build up your wealth depending on how, like, strategic you are.
Yeah.
Yes,
True,
it does.
true, but it also allows you to keep your wealth or allows you to give your wealth to basically
Hoard
whoever you
it.
want.
Hoard your wealth if
Yeah,
you want, which is
hoard your
what's
wealth.
going on right now.
Yeah, which is similar to a monarchy, which is why they're born into wealth, is because of hoarding wealth. Anyway,
But I'm
it's
just saying-
besides the point. It's still monarchies and capitalism. That's the Western society sort of thing. Capitalism was around at the same time as that was. So you
I
guys
just,
stick.
I hate it. I
Well-
hate it. I hate watching it.
Why don't you
Okay, how
hate
about
it.
we
take
move
a
on?
creamy cucumber and
Oh
stick
Lord,
it?
have mercy. We are at. we are
It was
at.
a very good video,
we
and I
are-
would make you one of those creamy cucumber drinks because it looked
we
very
are
interesting.
At an hour, and we have talked
40 minutes.
non-stop.
Recording. 40 minutes.
I know, I do that too. I see 40 minutes and I see an hour, and it's like, wait, there are 20 more minutes. And I have to keep reminding myself to live in the moment. I'm like, what can I do with 20 minutes? I'm like, dude, I can clean everything in 20 minutes. I have to remind myself because I will like shorten everything, but it's like, really, if there's 15 minutes, there's a lot you can do in 15 minutes if you just start, you
Yeah.
know?
I could watch 3/4. I could watch half an episode of Downton Abbey. 15 minutes.
If you wanted.
Alright, anyway, welcome to the podcast.
Well,
I wanted to show you guys, Victoria, have you ever seen the video of Garth Brooks' first Facebook post and video?
No,
This
definitely
is
not.
several years old. This video right here was posted on YouTube 8 years ago. So this is his very first video that he ever did. And it is just take a look at it.
Well, I guess it's official. We're now on Facebook. I really wasn't sure about this at the start. But then a friend of mine said something that just made all kinds of sense. She said, think of it more as a conversation.
Conversation. Think of it more as a conversation.
I like that.
I like that.
But I'm already finding out on my own is that it's wiping the walls out between you and me, and I really like that. It allows us into each other's worlds, or I guess in my case, the hotel room.
The hotel.
When I think about things I want to post cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff. I like that. But I'm already finding out on my own is that it's wiping the walls out between you and me, and I really like that. It allows us into each other's worlds, or I guess in my case, the hotel room. When I think about things I want to post cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff. But most of the stuff I'm going to post is going to be raw stuff like this. Because it's just who I am. So if this is truly a conversation, then I say let the conversation begin.
Alright, now how do we feel?
I don't ever want to watch that. That's how I feel.
Victoria? How do you feel?
I don't know.
Let the conversation begin. I want to post cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff.
Well, I think he's being honest that most people want to post cool stuff or slick stuff.
No, he was saying he wants to post cool stuff, slick stuff, neat
Yeah,
stuff.
but I think that's true. So I think most people, if they were to be conversing with an audience, they would say the same thing. If they were being completely 100% honest, they do want to be perceived as cool and slick, and everything that they put out there, they would want to be cool. They want people to like it. I think that's the general consensus of Facebook. So I think he's being really honest. I don't care about posting cool or slick stuff. That's why I don't do Facebook or anything like that. But I do think that anybody who does and who likes to get likes, they're honest. If they were being 100% honest, no ego, they would say the exact same thing. They would say, I want to be cool, I want to be slick, I want people to think I'm really cool. Of course they do. They don't want people to think they're a loser. They want people to think, So when I watch that, I'm just like, yep, that's 100% honest. He's trying to be cool, and he's admitted it from the beginning. So, yep, I agree.
Yeah, by using his voice like cool stuff, slick stuff.
Yeah, he's trying to be
Let the
cool from the
conversation
beginning. He's saying it. He's openly saying, I want to be cool. I want you guys to think I'm cool.
Cringe.
But everybody is truly like that. If you look
Victoria
at like
just
what
appreciates the honesty.
rules.
Victoria, it's okay.
I
but
do.
It's not honesty. Here's why it's not honesty. I
It's
can't believe we're
very honest.
defending Garth Brooks right now. Great, dude.
She's
It's very honest.
No, because the honest thing would not be to being cool, trying to be cool, and then saying, yeah, I want to post cool stuff, slick stuff. That's not being honest and raw. Being honest and raw is coming out and not trying to be cool and just saying,
He never said
listen,
that.
What?
He said he wants to post things that are cool and slick. And I'm saying I think the majority of people want likes.
Yes.
And I think the majority of people like things that are cool and slick. They just don't want it to look like they're trying to be, which is the essence of Nirvana.
He looks like
the band
he's
Nirvana,
trying to be.
grunge. I'm not saying he's not trying to be. I'm just saying he's being very honest when he says, I want to post things that are cool and slick. I think most people do want to be that. He's just not realizing how it doesn't look that way. But that's no fault of his own. He just has to learn more.
Oh, he's Garth Brooks. He's a multi. He has hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, but
He's
it's a
out of
new.
touch.
Well, yeah, of course. He's kind
That's
of.
what's funny.
Well, what did you want? My honest opinion, or did you want me to just laugh?
It hit her differently
Yeah.
than it hit you.
She's just trying to be so kind to everybody.
I'm not trying
Gross.
to be anything. I'm just watching it and telling you my honest opinion.
No, you're trying to give
This is why
everybody
I'm
the
not cool or
benefit of the
slick.
doubt. I'm not trying to be
Oh my
cool or
God,
slick
the
either.
benefit-
It's just
I
fun.
100% hope that people are trying to give me the benefit of the doubt. So who am I to be an asshole and just be like, look at this stupid person saying something stupid. How dare they? Who am I? The smartest, most cool person in the world that never gets made fun of? Why would I do that to somebody else? That's mean.
All right, so now we're up to Downton Abbey, Don Quixote, and Garth Brooks.
Well, you're just judging me for being like telling you my honest opinion. You're like, no, I want you to have the opinion that I have immediately and laugh with me about it because this guy is dumb and you should feel
It's
that way. I'm like,
funny.
well, I don't.
It's funny.
I thought it. I just was saying.
I think it's funny
Okay.
that I'm slowly
Thank you.
stealing Frankie's cat.
Thank you for thinking it's funny.
You have to because
I am.
that's kind of what Frank's like. He's basically calling out for someone to steal him and pet him and love him forever. And now Lil is reacting the exact same way.
Yeah, and no shirt's black, so.
Like that dress.
You don't know what color it is.
Listen, Victoria, maybe people honestly just see color differently. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. Should we let's talk about that was our one thing from the internet. Let's talk about our book.
People literally do see color differently, though. We have people
I
that
know.
are colorblind.
Oh, fuck it. I know. Thank you. She's muted.
Yes. Can't hear.
She's muted.
To you guys today, I'm like. People literally do see color differently. Plus, we don't even see color properly because if you look at like, what is that? Triocular, is it trinocular or triocular eye?
I think
From
ocular.
from the creatures that see three different colors than we three colors we never see. What are they called? Mantis shrimp. Mantis shrimp have triocular eyes and they see three different colors that we don't ever see. And they're like, and that's why they dress like an idiot. It's hilarious. We should watch that video for the beginning.
Danielle, your camera's stuck.
It's
No,
Frank.
It's messed up again, is what I'm saying.
It's
why?
I think it's Frank. His name is Frank. Frank something. Frank. And then it's Mantis Shrimp. Let's watch that video real quick, and that'll be actually interesting. You guys will love it. It just focused. Put in that, Frank, in YouTube.
No.
Frank.
We
Mantis
are
Shrimp.
52 minutes into recording. We haven't talked about the book at all.
But that's actually good.
Next
But
time
that's
we'll watch your
actually good.
stupid shrimp thing.
It's really funny. You guys will love it.
Can't wait till
It's
next
really
week.
funny.
We will watch it.
Well, we're
Will you
gonna watch it
save
before then.
I'm not. No, but we have to talk about the book. We got to talk about the book.
I want to talk about the
Book
book.
2,
You don't even know what book we read.
The Buried World.
She wasn't gonna read it because we read it so long
I wouldn't
ago.
have remembered
Yeah,
it.
exactly. All right.
Every time. What?
I'm done.
Jeff Wheeler. I know
By
the name.
Jeff Wheeler, the second book in a
By
three-book
Jeff
series.
Wheeler.
Jeff wheeling and
She
dealing,
took her a
Mormon
little
son of a bitch.
And she just remembered the author's name. She's like, who's the...
I'm like, who is
love
it?
I like
Jeff
the authors'
Wheeler.
names mixed up. Like Peter, there's Peter Brett.
Jeff
and then
Wheeler
Brett
is a
Weeks.
Mormon, and the Mormon that Frank hates,
True.
but
It is
also
true.
loves.
I hate him because he's a Mormon, but I love him because he writes great books.
Yeah,
Love you,
and that
Jeff.
he's American, so that's okay.
Well, are there
gotta
Mormons?
cut
Wait,
all
are there
this.
Mormons that?
In other countries?
Yeah, like, have they reached that? far?
Absolutely, 100%. Yes.
Have they?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, why don't you give me one of your stupid ass guesses?
You know what?
I'm not for sure, but I'm pretty sure there's a Mormon colony in India. So, but I don't know.
Exactly. I'm not for sure, but I
Victoria,
will
they're
tell
called Jews. Okay. Okay.
We call
Anyway,
them Jews. We're like, what?
That's
We gotta
not.
cut
They're
all this.
Jehovah's Jews. Okay, so
Let's watch the.
no,
let's watch.
we're not
the
watching the
Mantis
shrimp.
It's really
we're not
funny.
watching it. We're not.
You'll love it though.
Well, now we're never
Jeff
watching.
Wheeler.
We
wrote-
could watch it, and I
There are
just won't even.
There are
The
two
bird
kinds of
Yeah.
it. There are two kinds.
Victoria,
of
Great
we're
Kingdom.
moving on. We're moving on.
Why not just
Where-
start talking about
where are
it
we
for like an hour?
reviewing? We're reviewing the
You're
Grave
like Jeff
Kingdom.
Wheeler and the Grave Kingdom series, and I'm like, and then there's a mantis shrimp that has two hands and they push it, and then there's another one that I was like, shut up. Mantis shrimp, and they dress like clowns. They look really, they have crazy colors on their body.
We can watch it next week. Fuck.
Why can't we watch it today? Because we watched your video and I didn't like
Because
it.
I prepared one. Because Danielle, I don't. Did we talk?
We
Was it
did.
with Victoria too?
But yours
Well,
was
it
made
was.
of making fun of
Remember?
It was funny, Victoria. He made it 8 years ago.
Remember?
all
people. It
do
was
cringy
not very
shit.
funny.
Remember?
You're
Okay.
just trying to make-
Remember a long time ago when Frankie was like, I'm gonna teach you guys the internet and I will pull up clips and teach you guys about the internet. What he really
Yeah.
meant was teach me about the internet because I don't watch anything on the
Victoria
internet.
doesn't either.
Yes, she does.
Not the same.
Okay, whatever. So today,
Like that thing on the mantis shrimp. That's not like an internet thing.
It's
That's just
funny.
like a.
Yes, it is. It's really funny.
Okay, whatever. Don't care.
really good.
okay, it doesn't matter. So what
Let's move
are
on.
we reviewing?
What book are we reviewing, people? Today we are reviewing the second book in the Grave Kingdom series, The Buried World by Jeff Wheeler.
Correct.
That's what we read about 3-4 weeks ago now.
Yes.
It's been a second. Because
In a minute.
the first time we recorded this is fucked up. It messed up. Excuse my language. So that's what we read. Jeff Wheeler, we already said he is a Mormon. We just say that because we're just joking around. We don't actually have. I don't know
Frank
much about
has
Mormons.
made it very clear that he's specified he's a Mormon. I don't know why, but he's talked about it a lot. Anyway, so
But now it's just
we're
a joke.
okay. So we're trying to get through these podcasts, and I'm sorry for saying it that way. Sorry for you, everybody that's watching, but we've already done this, and we have to do it again
Second time
because, yeah, the sound messed up, and now we have to do it again. And it's been a while since I read the book. I have absolutely horrible recall. So basically, I'm going to be responding on the random eureka moments when Danielle and Frank are mentioning things that have happened in the book. So here we go. Let's start. Jeff Wheeler wrote the book as the Grave Kingdom series, and it's called The Buried World. I just
She
was
doesn't
told
even
that by
remember.
Danielle.
She doesn't even remember.
I don't
like,
remember most of this.
How we're gonna do the podcast anymore either. She doesn't.
Now let's start. I have no idea. So let's go.
So what we're doing. So Frankie is going to. He's going to give us an intro into the book.
To see if you're
Little
interested.
narration.
To see a little narration, and after that, we'll come back and do comments. We'll talk about the highlights.
Wait. Let's do that again. Let's do that again.
You go.
So Frank's gonna do a narration. No, I want you to say it because I feel like you know what you're talking about. But Frank's gonna do a narration to see if you guys are gonna be interested in it. How could we say that more snappy? Like something we'll say every single time. You know what I mean? Here's Frank doing a narration because you know what I mean. Snap, snap. How do we do that? Let's figure it out right now.
Frank's gonna do a narration to see if you're interested in the
Not
book.
even a narration. Frank's gonna do his own summary.
Frank's gonna do a summary of the first few chapters of the book.
Here's a
see if
little
you're-
summary.
Here's a little summary.
Here's
that
a little
Frank's gonna
summary.
Yeah,
do.
just say here's a little summary of the first few chapters.
No,
to see
at
if
the
you're
end,
interested.
courtesy of Frank, and then we'll skip to him, right? So here's a little summary to find out if you're interested, something like that. Let's make it
Now
real
to
snappy.
see-
So we
now to
say it
see
every
if
single
you're
time
hot-
exactly
this.
the same.
Now to see if you're interested, here's a little summary, courtesy of Frank.
Boom, boom. Good job. Say it again. I can't remember.
Now to see if you're interested, here's
Now-
a little summary, courtesy of
Now to see if you're interested.
Victoria's got her hands all weird.
Like the 20s.
And I wasn't
like
looking.
the 20s. Okay, go. I'm
and
sorry.
I wasn't looking at the camera.
Now to see if you're interested, Frank's gonna do a summary. Frank's gonna do a little summary.
You got it. Just do it again.
No, Frank's gonna do a little summary. Now to see if you're interested.
Now to
Frank,
see if you're interested.
Here's a little summary, courtesy of Frank.
Now to see if you're interested.
I wasn't looking at the camera. I was
Oh,
looking at you.
fuck me.
Here we go.
Now to see if you're interested,
55.
Frankie's gonna do a
Son of
little
a bitch.
summary that we're gonna fucking try to do.
One more time.
Now to see if you're interested. I don't even want to do it anymore.
Go ahead.
Now to see if you're interested, Frank's gonna do a little summary about the book.
No, we did it bad. That's wrong.
Well, I don't know
Now,
what it
see
is.
if you're interested. Here's a little summary, courtesy of Frank.
Thanks.
That's where
There,
it is.
she did it.
Newscaster.
You can fucking do it. You do it.
That was like newscaster throwing it out from the weather back to the desk.
I love that. I love
Then
that.
you
Let's
do
do
it.
that.
You
She
do
did
it.
it. It's
I
done.
just did
Okay,
it. I
awesome.
just said it.
Let's
All
go.
that's staying in anyway.
Okay,
Were you thinking of Bruce
Okay,
Almighty?
before you start, I gotta pee.
Evan. Oh, fuck me, I guess.
Oh, fudge.
Bingmei had died again, but not a real death. Her spirit would leave her body, and she would travel through the world until it was called back once again. This time she was in Saginaw, the kingdom that was once ruled by Rowan's father and brother, the kingdom that became the centerpiece of Echion's rule. She could smell him everywhere. His rotten insides could not be masked no matter how many fragrant smells were in the air. Bingmei was the one that brought him back to life, and now his corruption was spreading. She felt herself being pulled to a specific room, and upon arriving she saw Jidi Maja, the old advisor to the king of Saginaw. He was practicing writing glyphs on paper. Bingmei tried to call out to him, but he could not hear her. Then the door opened. Echion stepped into the room. Echion asked what Jidi was doing, and he replied that writing takes a long time to master. You see, Echion was teaching all his generals to read and write, but that wasn't why he was here. He told Jidi that he displeased him because he couldn't see her like he could. And Echion's eyes snapped to Bingmei. "Come back to me, little bird. I need my queen," said Echion. Bingmei fled as fast as she could, but Echion was too fast. He grabbed her with his dragon claws and she heard his snapping fangs. Then Quion said, "Wake up, Bingmei. Wake up. They found us." She was back in her body. The Qingdao had found their group in the ice caves. They lived here ever since they abandoned Kunmia's Quansoon because the Qingdao would find them there too. But now they needed a plan to escape. They sent the young and the old out the back while they climbed to a defensible position to fight the bandits. There were lots and lots of them, coming from both sides. They started to see their face in the torchlight, but they had to wait longer. And as the first few walked past their hiding positions, Bingmei gave the signal and sprung the trap. It was chaos everywhere. The Qingdao didn't know what hit them. Sure, Bingmei and her group were outnumbered, but the Qingdao weren't great fighters. The bandits were going down left and right, but as one grabbed Bingmei from behind, she tried to flip him, but he landed on his feet and then swung his leg to trip her. That's when she noticed he wasn't a Qingdao. He had a silk undershirt and had been trained how to fight like she had. This man was different. The man told Bingmei that his master wanted her alive and she would be leaving with him. He advanced on Bingmei, and as she missed her swing with the staff, he tripped her, and she fell back and hit her head, and now she was seeing stars. As Bingmei was staring at him, Miyashi kicked him in the face. Her friend had joined the fight, and the two started overpowering him. But as Miyashi grabbed his arm, he drew a symbol on her face, and she crumpled to the ground, unable to move and unable to breathe. The withering touch. Something else Echion brought back with him. There's plenty more chapters after that. That's just like barely scratching the surface of this book. Just gives the most of the major players.
Yeah,
I would say. There's a couple extra, but that's most of them. But like I said in the last podcast, this was my favorite book. This one was.
Book 2.
Yeah, book 2 was. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. I saw somebody say that this one. Oh, I fucking forgot how they worded it. I can't remember how they worded it. It's good. They said it. I just. Move on
I
from
love
life.
that. You know, I went to this restaurant and they had really good food, but I forgot how it tasted, but it was good. You're like, thank you.
Sounds fantastic.
It sounds amazing.
Forgot how this book ends. I don't want to say it now anyway. Oh yeah, okay. Overall thoughts on the book with you guys though?
It was really good. I mean, just again, it's lots of character building. You're finding out. I think it builds the mystery in this one. Am I remembering?
Yeah, because they're giving
Well,
you.
in the first one, we're really getting
To know the
a
characters.
lot of the mystery of the history and saying like, wow, we have no idea what's going on in our history. This book really is filling in the blanks of kind of why that is. Why do we not know our history?
Yeah.
Well-
Normally people write that stuff down.
Yeah. So I don't want to give away spoilers yet because we're not there yet, but I would just say this one's like the first one. There's I don't think enough information to really make you. No, I won't say that. That's fucked.
Yeah,
But-
I don't know why people read this series. Get past the first book.
No, because there's enough to keep you intrigued. But this one gives you, it gives you some information, but not enough to make you go, "Oh, this is why all this is happening." So it keeps the plate spinning. It keeps the thread weaving. Whatever you want to say. Whatever those are called. Analogy you want to spin. That's not an analogy. That's a what the fuck do they call it? Not a metaphor. Like to keep the plate spinning. I don't know what you call this. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Colloquialism?
Maybe. I don't know. People say that word all the time. I don't know what it is.
that thing that people say. It's one of those. Anyway, Frank's really good at describing things today.
He's coming down off his caffeine high.
But it does give you a little bit of the mystery, but doesn't give you enough. Like they still give you little things, little teasers of saying there's more here. And we're not
I
going to
feel
tell
like
you
we're
right
explaining this really, really stupidly. It's like the first book doesn't give you enough. The second book gives you more, but not enough. And then the third book tells you what happens. Like,
So I'll just read the third book.
It's like, duh. Like,
Yeah, bitch.
why there's 3 books?
Fuck off, dick. Listen, it's good. Read it. Let's get to the spoilers. Okay. See, I like being shit on sometimes. I like it. No, I'm just saying, I like when people make fun of me. It's fun for me.
Well, it's true, because we all do that. We all do that where we're like,
no,
well,
because you
like
won't
the
with
second
Garth
book,
Brooks,
it's
but
like,
you'll shit on
there's
me.
A little more.
Garth Brooks, you're gonna give him the
than
benefit
this
of the
one.
doubt.
But you don't know
me,
everything.
Go fuck
And then
myself.
they write another book. It's crazy. They write
See,
another book.
now it's
because you
okay to
don't
make
know
fun of
everything.
people. Now it's okay to make fun of people.
Well, I was just saying he was being really honest. I appreciate it.
I'm being honest. I don't know what it's called.
Let's not
I don't know what it's called. I don't know what a colloquialism is.
Okay, we're gonna fix that right now.
Look it up. Look it up. It's just a
Care
common
enough.
phrase that people use.
Yeah. What is it, Victoria? You don't know
A
either.
colloquialism is a common phrase that people use, but it's not exactly describing the thing. It's not very straightforward. It's just a colloquialism, like saying half a dozen of the other. You know, it's like what? What is that? What are you saying? It's a colloquialism. It's just a common phrase of a culture.
No one likes
Like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, or something like that, where people are like, why would you say that? You know, it's a colloquialism.
Oh, we've said it.
Are you looking it up? What is happening? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's just opening a bank account or something.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I don't care. Whatever. She's messaging Jeff Wheeler. She's
I'm
like,
not-
did you mean to not explain everything until the 3rd book? Because we're confused.
You're ruining our podcast, you Mormon fuck.
I can't even. How do you spell it?
COLLOQIASN.
What?
Oh, Frank.
It's actually meant COLLOQ.
O-L-L?
Yeah, co.
Well, I was saying C. Okay, C.
COLLOQUIASN. That's my best guess. It might be 1L.
It's an ism.
It's
so there's an ISM up there.
C-O-L-L-O-Q-U-I-A-L.
I did, yeah.
Yes.
A word or phrase that is
Colloquialism.
not...
You had it. A turn of phrase. What?
A word or phrase that is not formal or literary, typically one used in ordinary or familiar conversation.
Like what? Give us an
The
example.
colloquialism of the streets. That's their example.
Idiots,
The use
dude.
of ordinary or familiar words or phrases. Speech allows for colloquialisms and slang. We're all using it wrong. That's all I want to say. It's like common speech.
I never tried to use it.
I'm not-
How are we using it wrong?
I didn't know I was driving over the speed limit. How could I be wrong?
I never tried to say what it was. I'm the one that said I didn't know what it was. And then I'm told I'm using it wrong.
I speak a colloquialism wrong?
No, how could I be wrong when I'm saying I don't know what it is?
Frank, you're showing a lot of leg right now.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Look
Viewers.
at Danielle, look at the freaking camera, look at Frank's legs. He's like, look at my legs.
I am wearing short shorts. I just found them today. I forgot about them.
I found them and I forgot about. I know the
I love
70s is
'em.
coming back. Every time you walk through a store, you're like, it's 70s cop TV shows. Anyway,
Yes.
there's a better way to describe it than
Who
the
cares?
first book doesn't explain
Whatever,
very
read
much.
it.
The second book explains more, but not enough, and the third book explains everything. Like, well, fucking die, dude. Like, let's talk about this a little better.
Let's do this. Let's get
Well
into the
played.
spoiler section so we can talk about whatever the heck we want. How about that?
Let's do it. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Okay.
Idiots.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Oh, don't spoil it.
I
So
forgot.
bad.
I forgot how this ends.
If the sound doesn't work, you're just fucking skipping this one, and they don't get it, and we're going on to the third one.
We'll just
Yeah.
speed run. We'll speed run 2 in 3. Here's what happens in 2. Okay.
Not a lot, but enough.
Okay.
And then 3.
So let's talk about real quick. Let's just give the summary of what happened. Like not like a big summary, just a little summary of. Do you guys
Frank's
remember?
literally describing like before his midlife crisis. He's like, I know what happened before. I know what's happening right now. But like, I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. But I'm loving what's going on.
I don't
You're like,
know why
okay.
I'm being attacked. so
He
much.
loves the sick. Probably because you attack everyone so much. And the first video you show is, hey, let's make fun of one guy who happened to be successful. Fuck that guy. I'm like, what the hell?
It's not. It's. Okay.
Okay, so give your summary.
I forgot some of the stuff.
So
Listen.
it starts out. Listen. It starts out when they're in the caves. The frozen caves.
No shit. The part I read.
Oh my
Oh
god. she's on his side.
man! You never in your
Danielle's
little.
the only one on your side, and you're like, he's like, what the fuck?
Sorry, go ahead.
Nope, you go.
No one's safe today. We're all the killer. Everyone's
no
dead.
one's safe. We all had too much caffeine today.
Yeah, I had 5 milligrams and I just too much.
He had 5 milligrams and he's on a killing spree. Like, fuck
Can you
everyone.
imagine if I had like full-on coffee? I can't either.
I don't want to imagine that. That's
That's-
literally Hitler.
Listen,
That's
my
what happened. He
caffeine-
had a bad coffee one day.
The only coffee I take
He was
is
both
up my
high.
ass.
He was.
Oh.
He
went
was both
one
jacked
pot
up
too
and
much.
he was lactose intolerant and then death.
Doesn't want to.
Get out of here.
She's too heavy.
She is heavy. She's freaking warm.
It's just a 13 pound.
Danielle's like, please go away. And she's like, no, you've loved me too well. And Danielle's like, well, jury's
Yeah, I'll take
out.
her.
Here we
I'll
go.
take her. Come here, Lil.
No, go over there.
Lil, come here.
Look.
He's like, oh, this guy? Oh, God.
She doesn't like his short shorts, probably.
She's gonna like him, but it's like, she's like, oh, this is flesh. I'm going to scratch him now.
What happens in this book? So they're in the ice caves, right? They all leave.
Wait. They start in the ice caves. Where do they end? At the death wall with Echion, and Echion will not leave Bingmei because he's like, no, bitch, I'm gonna be with you till the end. And then Bingmei,
We had a
dies.
disagreement.
then she wakes up, right?
We had a disagreement. Cecil just jumps off me. We had a disagreement about how this book ends because I said that they go over the death wall, and you guys were like, "No, it's before."
No,
and then you guys
okay, they
described
get
them
on
going
the death
over.
wall. They're on the death wall, but they go over it, but
And
she's
Bingmei
not
dies.
fully dead. And Echion is not dead. Bingmei dies, and then she wakes
That's
up
not
again,
over.
right?
Boo.
She
You guys-
falls over the death wall.
No,
She is over
you guys
it.
are
She looks
mistaking.
up. She sees Echion. Echion's up there. Echion runs away from the freaking people that are the guarding the death wall.
That's not over the death wall.
And then
That's
she
not over
ends
the
up
death
in a
wall.
crag,
That's not
and
over the
then
death
she ends
wall.
up
That's
in
not
a
over the death
crag.
wall. That's not over the death
Wow,
wall.
she can, what?
That's before.
Okay,
That's
so
right when they
what
get
are
to the death
what
wall.
are the levels of death walls?
That's right when they get to
She's
the death
off
wall.
the death wall.
That's right when they get to the death wall. She touches the death wall and dies as soon as she touches it. Because they're
She
racing
wakes up
towards.
again.
Exactly. But you're saying all the things right when they're getting to the death wall. Quian goes up first and she sees him up there fighting.
Yep.
Yep. But that's not
Then she dies.
over the death wall. That's before.
But then she dies.
Where's it after?
And then she wakes up. And then she looks for Quian. And Quian has left because probably the people guarding the death wall. And then she's like, oh shit. And the next book opens up where she has like fallen. She's seeing and Echion are fighting. They're like, no, and she sees like, I'm gonna eat her, and you can't. And Echion's like, well, I'm gonna, and whatever. And then she gets away because they're fighting. And then she falls into a crag. And that's where the next book opens up, where Quian's looking for her, and she can't breathe. She wakes up in the crag.
We're going to the next book.
That's what I'm saying. Where it ends.
No, because you mixed up everything. And that was the problem. You said she jumps over the death wall and dies. No, she didn't die. But everything you said was true. Everything you said was true. They end.
Where does the book end?
The other side of the death wall. And then the epilogue is the blind king, and it's about Rowan, and he's leading because Rowan gets blinded. That's right. Okay. So they
are listening to a bird, and they keep running, and Aomen's with him, and they're running,
and Jidi
running,
Maja.
and Jidi Maja, and they're running. It's Jidi Maja. Jidi, not Jidi, Jidi Maja.
You say it how you want. I'll say it how I want.
I'm just saying how she says it, because she's.
I'm saying it how.
Anyway.
I'm saying it how the people said it to me.
So they're running, and then they hear the people coming, but he gets this weird thing where he's like, oh my god, right in the mud. And then he's like, she's like, the bird is like, and he hears it, and he interprets it as use the mud. And so he uses the mud to write on his sister's head, and she can see. And then he does it to Jidi Maja, and he can see. But then he's like, it's like, no, you can't do it to yourself. You can only heal other people. And you're like, oh, damn. And then he's like, here's the people coming, and he's like, run, because I'm not gonna make it. They capture him. He tries to fight. He does pretty good, but then of course he loses.
That's not true.
And then they take him.
Doesn't talk about how they get captured.
Yes, it. Unless it's in the next one. Talks about it right in the end, where he is like kneeling down and he swings out. And they're like, he's trying to fight him, even though he can't see. And then he takes some people out, couple people, and then they finally get him. And they're like, gonna take him somewhere. Well, gonna take him at where Echion wants him to go, which is Fusong. And that's what the way it ends.
Yep.
He still tries to fight, even though he's blind.
He does.
I can't wait to talk about the third.
So
that's next week. So, what happens kind of in between this? So they leave the ice caves. They go and find the king in the south. That is the really wise guy. He has a daughter. He wants that daughter to marry Rowan. Bingmei and Rowan obviously don't want that to happen because they're both in love with each other and they don't want to admit it. Then they leave. Why did they leave?
Because they're attacked. And the king says, take my daughter.
Soy Fen.
Weefin.
Not queefing.
How it's spelled. So they're attacked by Echion. I just don't want to be mixing in the third book. Yeah, I'm mixing in the third book right now. That's what I was doing. So, my bad. Okay, so then they're attacked. And he says, save my daughter. They leave. Where do they go? Then they're headed to... When did they decide? Because all of a sudden, Bingmei's like, well, going over the death wall. When did
That's
they decide
when they go, they're in Fusong. They're captured there.
Why'd they go to Fusang?
She's captured there. She didn't. She was captured. She...
Yeah. The fog comes. No one can see. And
Liako's there.
Yeah.
And Liako comes and gets Bingmei
And steals her ass.
Boom.
and steals her
They
out.
go back to Fusang.
He takes her back to Fusang.
And then once they're in Fusong,
right.
she meets Rowan's dad. Rowan's dad dies for her. And then she's in Fusong, but she convinces Rowan shows up and she's like, what the heck? And he's like, we're here to save you. Whatever. We have a plan. Whatever. And then and she knows, I remember, because she knows that Rowan's
We're
dad
going
died
too far
for her.
though.
And I'm
Hold
like,
on.
oh,
We're going
shit.
too far. No, we're going... No, because... You
She
didn't
has
say...
to wake up.
Yep.
She,
Sushi.
that person.
Sushi. She's right.
Yeah,
I think
she has to
sushi's...
wake
I
up
think if we call her
Shishi.
sushi, it's racist. So let's not do that, okay, people? So she makes
She
up...
has to
She
wake up
makes up.
Shishi
She
and-
shakes up. She wakes up. Sushi. And... Echion wants her to, obviously. But then she has that urge inside her
But she has an
again.
overriding yes to wake her up. She
Yep.
thinks it's the right thing to do.
Yep, and then they're about to kill Bingmei, and
But
Bingmei tells Cixi, listen, I can smell
can help you."
emotions, and I can tell you which of Echion soldiers are good soldiers, and which of his consorts, what are they called?
Concubines.
Concubines, thank you,
concubines
are wanting him more.
are actually
Go away.
that actually love him.
Yep, and want
that
to get rid of
actually
you.
love him.
Yep. And that's why Cixi and Echion keep her around, because Cixi
No,
throws
no,
Echion.
She
Cixi keeps her around because Echion goes to try and kill Bingmei, and Cixi throws his ass
Then
to
we
the
find
ground.
out we find out the balance that exists between Echion and Shishi, which is the two lions that we see at the beginning, right? So one of them controls the power and money and whatever and prestige, and the other one controls the peoples. So Shishi ultimately is the ruler of all children and women and things like that. So like Echion, so it's showing the balance. Like Echion wants concubines, but those concubines are ultimately under the rule of Shishi. Shishi wants the power
Shixi's the
that
bottom bitch.
is provided by Echion, but Echion is the one who controls that. So it's showing the balance that exists between them. They need each other to survive.
Like a pimp and his bottom
No.
bitch.
The yin and the
Like
yang.
an infinity symbol. Yes.
Like an anchor tattoo.
Okay. Well, I like that. I like the fact that it didn't matter whether, most of the time when we think about a balance, we always think about a balance of goodness. We think about it in good terms. We think, wow, those people are really balanced, or that thing is really balanced, or I want to experience this balanced way of life. But in this book, it really
Have you
shows
ever heard
how
of balanced
you can have
evil?
you can have a balance in a negative way
Dexter.
where it's not causing good things, right?
Right.
And in this book, we have Echion, who is controlling a vast amount of power and wealth and popularity. Everyone knows about Echion. He has everything, but he's still unhappy because he's paired
married.
himself
Oh.
with someone
He's
Yeah.
who is at odds with him. So although they balance each other, it's a very toxic relationship that they are in together, you know? And although it can work for a really long time, it doesn't mean that it should work or that it should be a thing that exists, but it is. And we're seeing the bad side of masculine feminine properties interacting together. And it's a great example of how, like, a lot of people will argue for their relationship that is negative, and of course it's lasting for a long time, i.e. our parents, it continues. But it's a toxic relationship, but it's one that stands the test of time. We can't argue that. But we do know that it's not ideal for both people, is it?
So toxic relationships last a long time. Interesting.
They
So one of my favorite parts of this book is it's the scene, that part of the book where they're trying to cross the river, and
Leoko.
yeah, well,
Echion.
I mean, he is a BA
He's
of
BA.
this book, right? And his ropes that come in handy all the freaking time. I love it so much.
Echion is the Sam of this book, the Samwise Gamgee of this book.
He's
Yes.
Samwise Gamgee.
He is. I love him so much. I love his character because he's so, like, under the radar, but he saves their asses over and over again. He's like, listen, we can't cross this river without my rope, so I'll figure it out. Bingmei's gonna jump across with her cricket. I mean, the whole thing, and then puts the leopard on his back while he's crossing the river as he's being, like, pursued by Leoko, this assassin. It's just the way he sets it up. I don't know. I love those pieces where you're just like not expecting it, and he comes in and saves the day.
It is pretty sick.
Quinn keeps doing that too, and I think that when you read the book, it's even more humble than even Danielle can describe it, because of course we're viewing him as not. He's just awesome, but he even views himself even less. Like, the way he literally describes that scene is like, yeah, you'll jump across. And they're like, yeah, but how will you get across? He's like, well, I've got some rope. And you're just like, okay. And then he's like, well, I'll just tie it. I'll show you how to tie it. And it's like so chill in his mind. But it's like,
Unassuming, yeah.
yeah, it's so unassuming. It's so humble, where he's just like, no, this just makes sense. And you're just like, okay, I guess we'll save everybody. You know what I mean? Like, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And he keeps doing it. And he's such a solid, stable character that you forget about. And then when you remember him, you're like, oh man, yeah, like he's always there. Like when you're like, oh, what are we gonna do? And it's like suddenly Quinn is like, hey, what's up?
Exactly.
It's awesome.
I'll fix this.
It's crazy because it's just like, how many people are like that in the real world, you know?
A
Just-
ton of people. We have nurses. Nurses are basically that character who's just like, oh wow, you're at your worst. Okay, I'm gonna be there for you. Like, we have a ton of people in the world who
Listen,
are like
I
that.
don't-
That's a pretty consistent character throughout the world. I'm just saying
gonna
how
stop
much.
myself. I'll just stop myself 'cause I'll get into trouble. I'll get myself into
What?
trouble. Just,
Don't you think
listen,
nurses are like
I think
that?
there's
They're
some
just like,
shitty
just
nurses. That's all I'm saying. I don't mean like, yeah, you're doing a job that is, I think, for the most part, thankless and doesn't pay you well enough. I agree with all of that. I'm just saying, yeah, of course there's going to be some shitty nurses out there.
Have you encountered any?
I've seen some online personalities of some.
Online
they seem to-
personalities.
Let's not go here.
I'm
Hey,
just saying,
so-
people post stuff online,
Frank.
and some of them have been nurses, and some of them have been disregarding certain human
So,
life. So I'm
Frank,
just saying.
What was your favorite part of the book? That's a
My favorite
spoiler.
part was when your camera was focused.
Well,
That was my favorite part of the book. You know why it is? It's because I'm in the camera shot. It's just, we've cropped it out so you can't see it. So I think it's because I'm so far back, it keeps not focusing. But you can't go too far because then the green screen's gone. Right there. So I think that's why it's unfocusing. No, that looks good. That looks better for both of us. My favorite part of the book? Let me try to remember what happened. I like when my fake answer, I thought of my fake answer, I was going to say I like Sishi because she's described as hot and lets her man have a lot of other women. So I was going to say that was my joke answer. But it is, my favorite part is probably seeing the relationship between Echion and Shishi, because you see how toxic it is and you see them fighting with each other and you see just how power corrupts people. But then when you have two people that have to share that power, how they just become bitterly loathsome to each other when they're both power hungry. So that was probably the most interesting dynamic of the book that I liked, honestly. It was, it felt like home, you know.
Oh my god.
Well, I think it's good how it shows that you have it's a very traditional style also of success, right? What is our image of success? What does success look like? And it looks like Echion having so much power and prestige and everything. He's a very just conquering person. And then you have Shishi, who is considered very beautiful, wonderful, whatever, and from the outside everyone's looking at them like, wow, they've got everything, but that doesn't explain the whole story. And so I think it's nice that they show that you really can't judge a book by its cover, and everyone is assuming that these people know the best way to do things because they're the most powerful, because whatever, and that doesn't necessarily decide that they're going to be the best at ruling the world. You know, what are their motives? And I think this book is really untangling that, where it's saying the motives of a person really do matter. It doesn't matter, you know, how much experience they have or whatever. They can still have some motives that are terrible and leading in bad directions. And even though they have the money to do all of the things that this other person who is weak can't do, but if this person who is weak had great motives, maybe they should be the person that has the money and the ability to do these things. So I do think it's a good example of that. Because a lot of times we are just a looks or superficial based society.
In that
Yeah.
How often do you guys read a book and then actually look for lessons to be learned in it?
Every time.
I rarely do.
Yeah.
I just look for a good story.
What?
Man. I just look for a good story. I'm not like, what's the symbolism here? You know, like I don't know. My brain doesn't go to that.
Yeah, mine doesn't too much either. It depends. Sometimes books will hit me and I'm like, oh.
Like there's moments in it that I go, oh man, that hits me hard or something. Like I feel sadness in my heart for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I feel really joyous in my heart, whatever that is. That's just like, I like thrive off the raw emotion of it.
Yeah.
And if I don't, but I don't try to decipher it all the time because it's work and it gets too much into the you have to learn something from everything sort of phase that self-help gets you into, that makes me want to not help myself and just be a struggling bum on the street.
I enjoy the work, so I kind of always look for the patterns.
What about that character that was killed in the first book that comes back in this one? I can never pronounce your name.
It's I have it here. Chuyi.
Is it Chuyi? Oh yeah.
It's spelled Z-H-U-Y-E. Chuyi.
Yeah, she comes back and Bingmei has to fight her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Especially because one of the biggest differences in this book than any time I've ever been described anything metaphysically or spiritually it's never said anything about two souls.
Two
And this
souls.
book specifically says two souls.
Yeah, the emotional
and every
one,
single
and
time
then
that
like the
popped up, I was like, what?
yeah.
It was so different than anything I've ever heard before.
Same.
So when Shu Yi, is it Shu because it's a Z or an X?
I don't
Anyway,
know. I listened to it a couple times.
Shu
Shu-
Yi.
Yeah.
However you pronounce it, but when she comes back and she herself describes, well, I'm only my thought self, so I don't have any of the emotions that were tied to my life with you guys. I remember all of the details, I just don't have any emotional connection to them. That's a wild perspective to live in, and she's living in it. She's just like completely without emotion. And I think every single time we're presented with that idea, we're presented with it a lot, though, more than you think. I mean, Jedi and Sith are basically the same thing. A Jedi is purely thought. It's saying they're, the balance, the complete numbness, no emotion. And Sith is completely emotion. It's all the emotional self. Just the major emotions are painful ones,
Like a
which
live
is why
wire.
Sith are bad. Exactly. And so we're presented with this idea a lot. Should I live a life of complete benevolence and neutrality, or should I live a life of emotional connection? And we're always worrying with ourselves, right? Head versus heart. Like, should I be completely logical? How much heart should I add to this situation?
I do.
Yeah,
I struggle with that a lot because like I will have thoughts of you haven't connected enough or you haven't reached out enough or whatever. So like I will push myself to connect more with people or reach out or whatever that is, whether it's sending a text, making a phone call. Like I have that thought a lot. And then there's that other part of me of like, I just need to get shit done.
Yeah.
Like here's my list and I need to get it done.
And
so,
then it's also like Star Trek, there's Spock and he doesn't have emotion.
I don't know anything
But then
about
Captain Kirk does have a lot of
I'm a
emotion.
true star.
Well, I think
So that's another one.
in my line of work, a lot of times people will talk about don't go into a job thinking task based, think person based, and that's basically the difference between I have a time limit, I have a timeline that I have to be able to get these tasks done, as well as I need to understand that I'm dealing with a person, not a robot, not an object.
Totally.
They have their own emotions and feelings. How do I balance those two things in caring for this person? And so I think, we're talking about that a lot. We see that with Bingmei as well, where it's a very understood thing that if you just go sacrifice yourself on the wall, you'll save everybody. But her emotion center is like, is that I don't know that that's the exact right thing to do. I feel like I should still live and try to fight.
I have my own plans.
I have my own plans. What the heck? So it's a great book, and it's a great book in that way where it's like, how do we balance thought and desire? How do we do that?
Yeah. Struggle's real.
No, but I do have some lasting desires. If you want to
Maybe not. I don't
Actually,
know, it depends.
No, I don't. I was just messing around about all that, obviously. Tons of great characters.
Yes.
There's tons of great storylines in here. I like... We read the funny books last, but before that we read a Chinese author. This wasn't a Chinese author, though, but it is based, or is like a Chinese-inspired story, or based in Chinese culture, which some of the stuff in there, like we were looking up words and stuff, and some of it's actually like real stuff in China and whatnot. It's very cool though. It's different to see, like, to get a little different cultural perspective, even if it's not 100% real. We're just diving into different cultures.
Right. I always worry about that too with authors. Okay, you're reading a book about a certain culture, like how much research did they do, right? Sometimes I'll look. Research. book.
An
and they reach out-
amazing amount.
Yeah,
I just think,
yeah. That's
wow.
why. Yeah, they do, and the people they connect with, and it's fun to see the acknowledgments and who they worked with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Agreed.
fantastic.
It would be interesting, I think, in the next podcast, or the final podcast
For the
for
series.
this book series, we should talk about what kind of research, and we should highlight the people that they had to talk to. Even did they take a trip to China? Did they, what did they do? What
Yeah,
did
that would
Jeff
be
Wheeler do to immerse themselves? Because that would be, difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, look. So that was book 2, Grave Kingdom series. Next week we're reading, well, we already read it. Next week we're talking about the Grave Kingdom book 3, The Immortal Words. Final book of the trilogy.
Yes. Really good.
But what we're really excited about is, after that, we're getting into Star Wars and we're reading the Thrawn trilogy, because as you know, Thrawn has been announced in the Ahsoka series that's going to be on Disney+. But this was, Victoria read this a long time ago, many years ago. Told me about this many years ago, and then I decided that I was going to put it into the series because I'm a wonderful brother. Now, my question is not a question actually, but Victoria, we got the first book today, and I'm not reading it. I want to, but I'm not reading it yet. I bought it.
I've got it.
I bought it.
I know.
So I'm super excited.
I'm there too. I'm right there.
And I don't
I'm like
want to.
on the precipice where I'm like.
I read the first page. I was watching. There's this new Star Wars game that came out, and I was watching somebody play it, and then I watched. I think somebody talked about it, and they said that there was a Jedi in it. Spoiler. This is a spoiler in case you're wanting to play Jedi Survivor. There's a Jedi in it that bleeds their kyber crystal, and I did not know it was called that, and it's called that when you take your crystal and turn it into a Sith red crystal. Now, I don't want to know if you know the history behind this. I don't know anything about that, but now that we're getting into Star Wars books, I'm going to be learning more about this. But as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, interesting. But when a Sith makes their kyber crystal into a Sith crystal, they use the same crystal, but they bleed it. Did not know that. That's
Well, it kind of
interesting.
makes sense though, because if you think about Jedi versus Sith, a Jedi is resisting their instinctual emotions, whereas a Sith is embracing them. What are your most strong instinctual emotions? Survival,
What
anger,
makes sense?
hatred,
Oh.
just deep love as well. Love
was
and
gonna
hatred
say,
are right
that's
on the
rough.
same level. Yeah.
I don't. What
And
are you?
Jedi is not allowed to feel love. They're not
I
allowed to
was
have
talking about them
loving
bleeding their
relationships.
crystal.
Well, think about the bleeding of it though. A bleeding heart. Think about it like that.
No. Okay, but I just didn't know. I thought there was a special Sith-like cave that you went to get your kyber crystal.
It's a secret one. It's a secret
Yeah,
cave.
unlike
Only for Sith.
No, it's
what's
not.
it called?
No.
Dazzle.
The crystal's reacting to you. It's reacting to
Well,
you.
Yeah, it's like a moon rock. Those are emotions.
Well, the thing is, it's like, well, you're basically like asking, is my perception of the world, or is the world, and I'm perceiving it because it is that way? Is
Okay,
it my
Plato.
perception, or is it just that way? Well, I'm just saying that's what the crystal is.
Your perception.
The crystal decides.
You make your own world.
Well,
Just saying.
okay, then if you're a Jedi or a Sith, you're gonna decide. You're gonna find out pretty quick what your allegiance is, right?
Invented.
I'm just saying I would be a rogue. I wouldn't be a Jedi. I wouldn't be a Sith. I would be in between.
I
would
would
depend.
be. I would be Han Solo.
Wanna be
He's a
Jedi.
rogue. That's a neutrality, which makes sense with your job description as well.
Yeah,
HR.
let's see. On the line, you'd be a civilian.
She would be a very good Jedi, where she's like, look, I can understand your side and I can understand your side. I know that there are a lot of emotions going on here, guys. But let's try to find the middle
You
of
can
ground.
never understand.
And if we
That is a
can't, I'll
Jedi.
pull out my lightsaber.
Basically, that's a Jedi.
So she
I'm
would
just
understand
saying.
the Sith side, though. and the Jedi can't stand for
Well, that's the point of the Jedi. The Jedi understands both sides. The Sith is just like, I don't care if I understand both sides. I care about me and what do I want. And Danielle isn't like that.
I'm not.
that. Oh, there's so many things.
I'm
Okay.
not.
Not getting into it. I'm not getting into it. We started talking about Star Wars. We're not even reading it. We're
We're
not even
not.
doing it next. I'm just so excited for it.
We all love Star Wars, so
We all want it. Okay.
you're not a Star Wars fan.
Okay,
this
Timmy,
might be the wrong
Timmy-
podcast for you.
Look.
Listen and
When
look.
it comes to Star Wars, you listen and you look at me in the eyes. You've watched the Star Wars movies. Wonderful. We all have. We love them. Depending, I'm not super sold on the Disney. Sorry for upsetting people. I'm not also super sold on, the later movies.
Getting scary here.
1, 2, and 3.
4, 5, and 6. I'm excited about. Anyway,
Classic Star Wars. Yeah,
classic Star Wars.
She hasn't seen Andor
Anyway,
yet.
Didn't see
look.
Andor?
Look.
Andor is Disney and it is BA.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just gonna say, I'm saying I enjoy Disney. I enjoy what they've done so far of what I've
Diego
seen, which is
Luna.
not a lot. I am gonna say though that I read the books right after 1, 2, and 3 came out, and the books send you to a whole new world.
It's a whole new world.
It is a whole new world. You disconnect from what everyone else says goes on in Star Wars, and you connect to a whole new world. Oh, many new worlds, and it's amazing.
Like Aladdin.
Anyway, one of the great writers is Timothy Zahn.
We're literally doing promo.
I
for
know.
the
What are we
podcast
doing
we're
right
doing.
here?
I'm just saying, one of the great writers is Timothy Zahn. He wrote the Thrawn trilogy. He wrote a number of other books. But it's an amazing series. If you want to join us, please do.
2 weeks from now.
I know you'll enjoy it. It's really good.
That's funny that we
I
got
love it.
onto that. It's hard not to. We all want to read it.
We all want to read it, and I'm excited to
It's
review
really good.
Immortal Words with you guys and talk about those things.
I don't even care about it.
Whose turn is it next? Whose turn is it next to
Ah!
choose books?
Well, we have to read 5 first.
Is
though.
it mine?
We have to read 5 books.
After the Star Wars
6
series?
actually. We have to read
Yeah,
6 books.
After
you-
Star Wars.
After Star Wars.
Listen, people, we gotta read 6 books
I could
first.
say we read Jude Carpathian, and then we will have to read the Darth Bane series. So I could keep it Star Wars going. I'm just saying I could.
I'm all
And
for
you'll
it.
love it.
So
Okay with that.
here's the thing with the series
It's
that
really
we're
good.
reading in 2 weeks. There's 3 books, and then there's a prequel trilogy to it that's about how Thrawn came to be in power. So we could read that
Oh,
right
man.
after mine. Or I could just say I'm having all 6. That's my series.
Yeah, it could be.
Because
Could be.
somebody chose 5 for us. Peter Brett. Who did that?
Who did that?
Demon Cycle series. It was Victoria.
It was Victoria.
Who could have done that?
She thought there was only 3 though.
I
And
thought
she
there was
like,
only
There's
3.
5?
Wow. It doesn't matter though, because all of these writers are really good. Timothy Zahn is one of the best Star Wars writers I've ever read, and I know you'll enjoy it. You'll love it. You'll love it.
So join us 2 weeks from now after our next podcast, The Immortal Words, where we don't want to do it.
Why can't we just do
I
the immortal
want
words
to do
right now?
it.
Oh my
Because
god.
I don't
it's
have
5 p.m.
I don't have anything written. It's 5 p.m.
We could do it tomorrow.
I gotta.
We could do it tomorrow. If Frankie wants to.
Get it done. Get it out of the way.
That's so much work.
I so want to talk about it.
The Immortal Words.
I just
Okay, let me
finished it,
see where
though.
I'm at. Let me see where I'm at. Okay. All right, welcome to the podcast.
Look at his face.
All right, let me
Do
see
you
what I
want
can
me
do.
To try to write a summary tomorrow
No.
morning?
I'll try. Maybe I'll have you help me. All right.
Then we could just be done with it.
Yeah,
Let's do
'cause
it.
we're ready for Star
Tomorrow.
Wars, people. We're ready for Star Wars.
And I want to talk about the Immortal.
I mean, yeah, I want to talk about it. I just don't. I'd rather read Star Wars.
I know you're ready. When the book came, he was like, he was upstairs and he's like, I'm not gonna go read. It's like, okay.
You're like, I feel like that's not. Yeah, you're gonna. You're gonna right now.
That's what they were saying. They kept saying, "You're gonna go read." I'm like, I'm not gonna read this. It's almost I'm trying to convince myself that I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't for them. It
You're
was
Yeah.
for me.
not going to eat these peanut M&Ms.
I'm not gonna
He's
eat
trying
this
to
chicken
Jedi
burger.
mind
I know
trick
this
himself.
chicken burger. He's Jedi mind tricking himself.
Have you ever
Whereas
sucked?
a Sith would just be like, "Well, I'm gonna read it right now because fuck you." You're like, "Whoa."
I want to do it.
Have you ever sucked an M&M into your mouth and it hit your tooth?
Yeah, it sucks. I don't like that.
Especially the peanut ones.
Have
course
you
I've
ever
done that.
seen The Willoughbys? It's a kids
Yes,
movie.
I love it.
Okay, so do you remember the part where that kid eats too much candy and then pukes up like a rainbow thing of foam?
Yeah.
That's how I feel
Yeah.
right now because I ate too many of these things. And
Stop.
I keep
Go eat
picturing that
normal
scene.
food.
I know I need to. I keep
Go eat
picturing
normal
it because
food.
I'm like, ugh.
All right, we've been here too long.
All
Yeah.
right, all right.
Bye,
I
everyone.
love you. I
Thank
love
you for listening.
Victoria.
Bye.
We will. Victoria.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Sorry. Hold on. We'll do that again. We gotta go.
Yes. Bye,
Goodbye,
everyone.
everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for
Bye.
listening.
We gotta
Like,
go.
We gotta get out of
subscribe
here.
if you're a Star Wars
You're
fan.
holding us up.
Yeah.
You're holding us
Yeah.
up right now.
We're rambling now. But thank you for listening. If you like the podcast, like, comment, subscribe, please. Appreciate
Bye,
it.
everybody.
Bye.
Have a good rest of your week. Goodbye.